What's up, YouTube? Today I wanted to do a follow-up video on my previous video, as the previous video got a large number of views and likes. So thank you everyone who decided to thumb up the video and watch it. For today's topic, I wanted to talk a little bit about my reasoning why I organized my stack to sell in the first place. And I haven't really mentioned it, but there was a video on Losing Louie's channel, shout out to him, about the coronavirus and the supply chain disruption that's coming as a result. I've seen this, I've been watching this for a while now, and as of last week, I sold off pretty much half of my holdings in the stock market, and also organized my my PM stash in order to get ready to sell. And if you follow me on Instagram, you would have noticed that I started this roughly around the time that the coronavirus started happening. And the main reason being that when these kind of events, this could be a black swan event. And I was preparing early for that, just because when there are signals of a black swan, you have to be ready in order to jump on the market once you're ready. You finally made that decision that you actually want to sell. And this is the time and place where you actually can time a price spike when there is fear in the market. It doesn't have to be the silver market. It could be a fear in the silver market or fear in general. Now, I hate to capitalize on fear, but there's always opportunity in chaos. And usually people are the ones that take advantage of us. And when times like these happen, it's best to be prepared with what you know you want to sell, just because if there is a dramatic drop, it will come pretty violently. And when there's a violent drop in the stock market, there's potential for a nice spike in the precious metal market, and also in crypto. So when it comes to the supply chain itself, I wanted to track back a little bit. Basically, these days, a lot of things are made in China, and we all know that. It's just which household products are made in China, and that's ultimately what I decided to purchase in advance to beat everyone, where I don't have to worry about buying things. And this all started when I was looking for N95 masks in late January. I actually was able to buy some, and then I was like, oh, I have some chance. This is not going to be a big deal. And then all of a sudden, next thing I know, 2 days later, they were all sold out. So when you're not prepared, it always sucks when something actually is about to happen, and you try to go out, and guess what? A bunch of other people aren't as prepared as you are. So in this case, okay, you buy an extra roll of toilet paper, an extra roll of paper towels at Costco. It's not really a big deal. It's only about another $10-15. Not a huge burden. Because what we've seen in China already, and we can use them as a forecast of what we can potentially see in our own environment should the situation start to become a problem. Now, I'm not saying that it is going to be a problem, but it also doesn't hurt to buy it in advance, because you can always use your TP, because, you always got to use the bathroom, right? And you can always use your paper towels. You just pre-purchasing 1 month or however month in advance. For me, it lasts a really long time, so I just bought an extra roll of what I would normally get, 2 loads of dishwashing fluid, two times the dishwashing fluid, 2 times the laundry detergent, body soap, all this crap that is most likely made in China. And as a result, we'll likely have some supply interruption once the current stock runs out, right? This goes the same for medications. A lot of the ingredients that are used in several medications are actually made in China and sourced from China, and then brought over and then manufactured in whatever country. I saw something like 80% of the manufacturing capability in India for prescriptions is sourced from China. So even though they produce their own, they are still dependent on the ingredients from China. So that's just something to keep in mind if you have some elderly in your family. Uh, as far as getting sick or getting infected, I'm not too concerned. What we've seen is that the majority of people are okay when they do get infected. However, those with compromised immune systems do fall, and the infection rate is very high. So this is really just a numbers game. And the best thing that you can do is to try to avoid contact once you see people who have this issue. But realistically, people are very, how do you say it, complacent with it. They don't really think it's a thing. So I've seen people at work with an open cough who don't really care or are too considerate about other people. They're not wearing a mask. Just people are coming in sick and doing their job as we do in America, and puts everyone at risk. And if it does spread to the states, ultimately it will likely get spread pretty quickly because of the fact that people don't think it can happen to them, and people are just walking around, going to these social groups or social gatherings, and just spreading it out. Especially now that we know that it's an airborne virus. The only thing that we can really do is just hope that we're not one of the 1 to 2% fatality rate, given the fact that the majority of people affected are like boomer age, 60 and above, and those who have compromised immune systems, who between 20 to 40, either through lack of sleep or have some pre-existing conditions. So what does that mean for us stackers? Well, for me, it means that the gold and silver are starting to hit maturity and are starting to hit the prices where I'm tempted to sell. And I mentioned in my last video that I'm thinking about selling, and mainly to get into different asset classes. And when these type of events happen, it's usually an opportune time to make a transition, because gold and silver are on the move up. And in the last video, I was wondering when they would go to 20, 25, 30. And perhaps silver will get that volatile spike where it'll catch up a bit on the gold-silver ratio to gold. And if it does that, then that's when I would probably convert some into gold or into cash to convert back into property. Now, the thing about converting into property is that you have to have the funds in the bank months before you actually are ready to purchase, which is why I was organizing my stack in the first place. Because if you're gonna sell, you gotta do your taxes, you have to fill out the paperwork, then you have to put it in the bank, and then basically when you're filling out your loan application or loan approval for pre-approval, then the funds already have to be there. Otherwise, you have to write justification, which becomes a bit of a problem. One thing I won't be doing is buying any more crypto stocks, silver, gold, or anything like that. Not until we get through the breakthrough, because at that point, that's when we'll probably have a hard shift back down for both gold, silver, and the stock market will start to fire up again. So when I decide to purchase back into the stock market, usually I will wait until the stock market starts to move convincingly up, because I don't mind sacrificing some profit on the way up, as long as the trend is on the way up. But for now, it seems like the stock market is still holding strong regardless of the coronavirus. But my opinion is that once the economic impact of all the manufacturing that's pretty much on pause while China gets her shit together is going to be a while, because we haven't run out of supplies, and we're a just-in-time type of distribution system where everything we get is based on the supply on hand, and nothing is being manufactured right now for certain things, and that's going to cause an issue. So some of you might not care about the coronavirus or think it's totally blown out of proportion. And hey, more power to you. I'm just saying what I'm doing. You probably are smarter than me, and I'm just doing what I'm doing out of to hedge my bet. Basically, I don't need to make as much as you probably are if you think I'm stupid for doing the things I'm doing. But hey, everyone has their own way of doing things. And this is just my way. So don't take this as financial advice anyway, because I'm not a financial advisor, obviously. But I do well enough that I do take my positions, I think about my positions very carefully and try not to get wiped out. Because that has happened in the past. And up until this point, I've worked quite hard to establish myself again. So this is a different type of format I'm trying. So let me know what you think in the comment section below, whether or not you like this style or my previous video more. And I'll try to do more videos. This just makes it a little bit more convenient because I'm doing it on the way to work and then just kind of throwing out my rants and fixing it up, throwing it out there. So take care of yourselves. Be healthy. Be well. In China, it's definitely SHTF as well as in other countries, so be aware and take care. Thanks for watching.